Keep your old gas car or buy a new hybrid? On the surface, it sounds simple. Old gas car, it's paid off. Sure, it's not perfect, but I know it. New hybrid, better gas mileage, feels modern, maybe helps the planet. But that payment is nasty. Most people make this decision based on vibes. The old car is starting to feel sketchy. The dealer said I'll save money on gas with a hybrid. It's 2020 something. I should get something newer, right? The brutal truth is, sometimes keeping your old gas car is absolutely the smartest move. Sometimes a hybrid really will save you money, but you only know which one is right if you look at total cost of ownership, not just the monthly payment or the fuel economy number. I'm GearHead. I care way less about what's trendy and way more about what quietly drains or protects your bank account over 5 to 10 years. If you don't want to get talked into a financially dumb car move ever again, subscribe, because this is exactly the kind of decision most people get wrong. Let's decode the real total cost of ownership: old gas car versus new or newer hybrid. The big trap: monthly payment versus total cost. You walk into a dealership with an old gas car that's paid off, a bit rough and maybe needing some work. The salesperson says, "Look, for just $399 a month, you can be in this brand new hybrid and you'll save a ton on gas." Your brain hears, new car, better MPG, same monthly hit as some bills. What your brain doesn't automatically calculate is the interest over 5 to 7 years, higher insurance, higher registration and taxes in some places, and the fact that your old car's payment is $0. Monthly payment is only one slice of the pie. Total cost of ownership equals the purchase price or depreciation plus interest plus insurance plus fuel plus maintenance plus repairs plus taxes and fees. You only know whether keeping the old gas car or buying the hybrid is smarter when you compare the full picture over the same time frame. Step 1. Know your old gas car's real cost. Before you even look at a hybrid, you need to be honest about what your current car is actually costing you and what it's likely to cost. Let's say you have a 10 to 15-year-old gas car that's paid off, it gets 22 miles per gallon on average, and it's worth, say, $5,000 on the used market. You want to answer 4 questions. First, how many miles do you drive per year? This is huge. If you drive 6,000 miles a year, fuel savings from a hybrid will be modest. If you drive 20,000 to 30,000 miles a year, fuel savings get real. Second, what do you realistically spend on maintenance and repairs per year? Look back at the last 1 to 2 years at oil changes, tires, brakes, and any repairs like sensors, suspension, or leaks. Add it up, then ask, is that likely to go up, stay the same, or go down? If your mechanic is saying, soon you'll need a timing belt, suspension work, maybe a transmission rebuild, you need to factor that in. Third, what major failures are realistic on this car? From an engineering perspective, older gas cars tend to face transmission wear, head gasket issues on some engines, rust in critical areas, AC failure, and electronics aging out. You don't have to assume the worst, but you should get a pre-purchase style inspection even though you already own it, and ask the mechanic, if I keep this 3 to 5 more years, what do you think I'll face realistically? Fourth, what is the opportunity cost of selling now versus later? If your car is worth $5,000 now and will likely be worth $2,000 in 3 years, that extra $3,000 loss is part of your total cost if you keep it. Now you have your annual fuel cost, your average annual maintenance and repairs cost, and your expected depreciation over your planned ownership period. That's your baseline. Step 2. The hybrid's real cost. Now imagine you're looking at a hybrid, new or lightly used. Let's say it costs $30,000 out the door, it averages 45 miles per gallon, you'd finance it over 5 or 6 years, and your insurance and registration will be higher than your old car. You want to estimate your annual fuel savings. For example, your old gas car gets 22 miles per gallon and the hybrid gets 45. You drive 15,000 miles per year with fuel at $4 per gallon. The old gas car fuel use is 15,000 divided by 22, which is about 682 gallons. 682 times $4 is around $2,728 per year. The hybrid fuel use is 15,000 divided by 45, which is about 333 gallons. 333 times $4 is around $1,332 per year. Your approximate fuel savings is $1,400. That's real money, but remember you're also taking on a car payment plus interest. If your $30,000 hybrid loan works out to $500 a month for 60 months, that's $6,000 a year just in payments. Even if fuel savings are $1,400 a year, you're still spending an extra $4,600 per year compared to a paid-off gas car just on the payment difference. Then there's insurance and taxes. A newer, more valuable car equals higher insurance premiums and possibly higher registration and tax costs depending on your region. If that adds, say, $600 to $1,000 per year, that's more cost on Team Hybrid. Finally, maintenance and repairs. The pros for the hybrid. Less brake wear due to regenerative braking, they're often extremely reliable if you pick something like a Toyota or Lexus hybrid, and engines can live easier lives in city driving. The considerations for the hybrid: eventually battery or hybrid system components can fail, usually farther down the road, but it's not zero risk. Also, out-of-warranty electronics and inverter issues can be pricey, depending on the model. Still, for the first 5 to 7 years of a solid hybrid, maintenance is often less stressful than on a 15-year-old gas beater. Side by side, a simple 5-year comparison. Let's run a rough, generic example. Your numbers will be different, this is just how to think about it. Let's assume you drive 15,000 miles per year, fuel is $4 a gallon, your old gas car gets 22 miles per gallon, is paid off, costs $800 a year in average maintenance and repairs now, rising to maybe $1,500 a year as it ages. The new hybrid gets 45 miles per gallon, costs $30,000 out the door, financed at $500 a month, has $400 a year in maintenance early on, and bigger repairs are unlikely in the first 5 years. For the old gas car over 5 years, fuel is about $13,640. Maintenance and repairs will total around $6,100. For depreciation, it's worth $5,000 now and maybe $1,000 in 5 years, which is a $4,000 loss. The total 5-year cost for fuel, maintenance, and depreciation is around $23,740. There are no payments and insurance is relatively low. For the new hybrid over 5 years, fuel is about $6,660. Maintenance is around $2,000. Payments are $500 a month for 60 months, which is $30,000. For depreciation, let's say it's worth $15,000 after 5 years, meaning a $15,000 loss from the $30K purchase. Your total cash out over 5 years is $30,000 in payments, $6,660 in fuel, and $2,000 in maintenance. But when you sell, you get back $15,000, so the effective 5-year cost is around $23,660. Look at that number. Old gas car, $23,740. New hybrid, $23,660. They're basically the same in this rough scenario. The hybrid gives you that new car feel, a warranty, no surprise major breakdowns early on, better gas mileage, and more comfort and safety features. The old car gives you no payment stress, no new debt, familiarity, and a slightly higher risk of breakdowns and annoyance. In this example, financially, it's almost a wash over 5 years, so the real deciding factor becomes your tolerance for risk and inconvenience, your cash flow. Can you actually handle $500 a month? And your emotional preference, new, safe, and efficient versus old, familiar, and cheap month to month. If you drive less than 15,000 miles per year, the hybrid fuel savings shrink and the old car starts to win. If you drive more than 15,000 miles per year, hybrid fuel savings grow and the hybrid starts to win. When keeping the old car is clearly smarter. Keeping the old car usually wins when you drive relatively low miles, under 10 to 12,000 per year. It wins when the car is mechanically solid with no huge known issues, when insurance and registration are cheap, when you don't have cash flow room for a new payment without stress, and when you have a mechanic you trust to keep it going. Even if you're spending $1,000 to $1,500 a year on repairs, that's often still way cheaper than taking on $4,000 to $6,000 a year in payments and higher insurance just to save maybe $600 to $1,000 a year on fuel. A lot of people junk or trade cars over irritations, like it's old, the AC is weak, it needs some work, when a couple $1,000s of smart repairs could have bought them several years of low total cost. When the hybrid starts to make real financial sense. A hybrid starts to win when you drive a lot, 15,000, 20,000, or 25,000 plus miles per year. It wins when gas prices are high where you live, when your current car is unreliable and obviously heading toward big failures like the transmission slipping, engine problems, or major rust. It also wins when you can comfortably afford the payment and higher insurance, and you plan to keep the hybrid long enough to ride past the steepest part of its depreciation curve. In that situation, fuel savings over 5 to 10 years can be huge. Predictable reliability has value, especially if you can't afford downtime, and safety and comfort upgrades are a real quality of life improvement. And if you buy a used hybrid, smartly, you let someone else eat the first 3 to 5 years of depreciation. You can sometimes get a low-mileage Toyota or Lexus hybrid for far less than new, with plenty of life left in the hybrid system. Then the math shifts further in favor of the hybrid. The emotional side people don't admit. Here's something almost nobody says out loud. Sometimes the desire for a new car hides inside fuel savings arguments. You want to feel safe and modern, to not worry about breaking down, and to enjoy your daily drive more. And you wrap that want in, "I'll save money on gas, so it's smart." Sometimes that's true, sometimes it's not. If you run the numbers and the hybrid is actually more expensive overall, but you still want it, that's fine. Just be honest with yourself and say, "I'm willing to pay extra for comfort, safety, and a newer car." That's way better than pretending you're saving money when you're not. Don't forget the third option, a reliable used non-hybrid. One more thing almost nobody talks about. The choice isn't always just an old beater versus a brand new hybrid. There's a third lane, a 5 to 8-year-old reliable gas car with good gas mileage. For example, a used Corolla, Civic, Camry, Accord, or Mazda 3. They get 35 to 40 miles per gallon on the highway with simple, proven engines. No hybrid complexity, but they're still way more efficient than a 15-year-old SUV getting 18 miles per gallon. Looking at the total cost approach, they have a much lower purchase price than a new hybrid, lower insurance than a brand new car, much better fuel economy than your old gas hog, and a long remaining life if you pick carefully. For a lot of people, this is actually the best total cost sweet spot. How to make the right call for you. Here's a simple process you can follow in an hour with a calculator. First, calculate your annual miles driven. Second, look up your current car's real-world miles per gallon and the hybrid's miles per gallon. Third, estimate the annual fuel cost for each at your local fuel price. Fourth, estimate the annual maintenance and repairs for your current car based on the last 1 to 2 years plus your mechanic's opinion. Fifth, for the hybrid, estimate the payments plus increased insurance plus taxes and fees. Sixth, compare the 5-year total cost for each path, including depreciation. Then ask yourself, does the hybrid actually save me money in 5 years? If not, is the extra cost worth it to me for the comfort, safety, and peace of mind? If yes, can I comfortably afford that payment and not wreck my finances? If you do this honestly, the answer usually becomes obvious. If you watched all the way through, you're not the kind of person who just walks into a dealership and signs whatever looks shiny. You actually care about how these machines affect your money long term. That's exactly who this channel is for. Most people talk about cars like toys. We talk about them like one of the biggest financial decisions you make every 5 to 10 years. If you're not subscribed, you're still stepping into car decisions with half the playbook, while everyone here is slowly getting the full one. Hit subscribe now before your next should I keep it or trade it moment, because the best way to save thousands on cars is to understand them before you sign anything. I'm GearHead. Every car has a story and a cost, and together we're going to decode both.